The following program is furnished by K1 International, LLC, and is responsible for its content. Now, from the 5th floor Cumulus Studios in downtown Dallas, it's time for Inside Real Estate. Here's your host, Michael Kruizinga.
Good morning, Dallas. How are we doing? Welcome to your Sunday morning on a Veterans Day weekend. Hope everybody has thought about the veterans this weekend and, thought about the respect that they deserve. All the veterans from all the wars, active, passed on, and inactive. So hope you're thinking about that out there. They work for us and help protect us. So think about that on this Veterans Day weekend, and not just what you're going to get at a sale on a Veterans Day sale this weekend. So there you go. Hey, if you want to talk to us, we got a lot of things to cover today. We're going to do insurance talk. We got mortgage talk. We got some real estate talk. We're also going to do some timeshare exit strategy talk. So any of those topics or anything else, if you just want to talk sports, entertainment, or whatever floats your boat, you can call us here at the show, 888-787-KLIF, 888-787-KLIF. If you have questions for any of us in any of the industries, I'll be happy to talk to you live. And I'm sure we'll have, some sort of goodie for you, promo goodie of some sort, or tickets to something. We've got something. So 888-787-KLIF. Website, InsideRealEstateRadio.com, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. You can connect with us, all of our partners, and then all of our social media. We're on SoundCloud, so if you want to catch past episodes, SoundCloud, iTunes, don't forget to download the app if you're actively searching for real estate, DFW Metroplex Real Estate, DFW Metroplex Real Estate in your smartphone, Droid, or Apple. And, connect with us on all the social media, the YouTube channel and all that good stuff. We'll looking forward to hearing from you if you're thinking about buying or selling real estate, or if you just want to catch up with us and talk. So we've got a lot of activity here in the show today. Let's start off with a little bit of headlines. We had the election week. We're finally done with that, thank goodness. And it's just good to have it over, really.
Yes, it is.
It was, so contentious, and it's taken up so much of our lives. It's just a brain drain. It's an absolute brain drain for everybody. And it seems like the cycle goes on and on and on. And so anyway, thank goodness it's over. And I do actually have the results state by state, and so maybe we'll go over that, I don't know, maybe in this segment or towards the end of the show.
So you know who won?
Yeah. Have they announced it yet?
They have announced that, but what I thought was interesting was the state by state by state, because we didn't really get a lot of that coverage,
Right.
I mean,
I looked at that too.
It
was very interesting.
It's very interesting because by and large, it really is landslide, and nobody's
Right.
using the terminology landslide, and it actually really is. And now with Trump pulling Michigan, he is over 300, 306. Not that it matters, because it's over, but done. But nobody's really saying landslide. Nobody's really going into the details of all the states, and by such wide margins that he won in most of his. Obviously, Hillary had a few landslide wins herself, with the ones you would figure, New York and California. But I think we'll go into some of that maybe here in a little bit. And then, of course, in Arlington, we did get a brand new stadium,
Yes.
which is fine. I'm looking forward to, I guess, having an air-conditioned stadium, although I thought, money would have been spent more wisely elsewhere. But, hey, we're not the only friendly taxpayers in the world. Here's a headline for you. Over in Hamburg, $870 million concert hall finally completed. It was $600 million over budget. Slated for completion in 2010. It took an extra 6 years and an extra $600 million. Originally slated for $200 million, and the taxpayers paid the difference. So the taxpayers paid the $600 million,
Wow.
which is, about what we're probably going to pay in Arlington. We're slated for $500 million on the $1 billion tab for the new stadium. And of course, if it goes over, who knows? And of course, all the upside goes to the team. I tell you, the teams work such great deals, and then
Yes, they do.
they really do. And then we're told we're gonna get this economic impact, but really, we're getting a stadium, blah blah blah. That's good stuff, but what about city services and all those things? I just think people are a little short-sighted on that. And but hey, we're getting a new air-conditioned stadium. So we'll have some fun. Why not? Hey, here's another headline for you. For those of you sort of doomsday bunker type of peoples who are on the highfalutin end, if you've probably heard about this, I think I mentioned it before on the show. Trident Lakes is opening up as early as maybe next year, with some properties being available. And this is up in Fannin County, up in Ector. Now, this is a $300 million project out there, and you should hear all the things that they're going to have. Most of these homes are going to be underground bunkers with airlock blast doors, of course, off-grid energy and water production. But this is going to be the luxury style bunkers over there. We're talking about an equestrian center, 18-hole golf course, polo fields, zip lines, gun ranges, retail shops, restaurants. The fountain they are putting up out there, which is almost complete, is the likes of the Bellagio. In fact, it's going to be larger than that. So this is going to be one heck of a community out there. Maybe 400 or so condos or units that they're going to have out there that's designed to last at least 2 centuries or longer. Possible move-in 2018. Construction has been underway out there. But for the, executive doomsday bunker type folks, here's an option for you way out in Fannin County.
I need to see if I can figure out how to do the mortgages on those.
Yeah, I know. What's funny is they don't talk about prices, and it's
right.
When you go to the website, it's all about invitation only. So you kind of try to get your invitation. My guess is all those units are going to be $1 million or better.
Right.
For those types of units out there is my guess, at least.
The comps may be a little difficult to
comps
find.
Maybe get difficult.
Yeah.
If you're trying to search for comps for other doomsday bunkers,
Well, then they definitely have to get a hold of me, because you can't have normal insurance for homes under $1 million.
That's right. And we joke, but a lot of people are excited about this. I mean, there's people quoted and they're saying, "Hey, look, we're not, these survivalist crazies. We're executives, and we're worried about things in the future, and we're legitimately interested and excited about living in this community, and it's going to be a high-end community similar to Stonebridge Ranch, in McKinney, or some of the higher-end neighborhoods, in the DFW Metroplex. It's just a lot of it may be underground, and
I think it sounds kind of cool, though.
It actually does sound really cool, and so very interesting.
So when the tornadoes come through, all you got to do is go into your bunker, and you're
That's
okay.
Right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, that's a pretty sweet deal. What else we got going on? Hey, if you ever wanted a Frank Lloyd Wright, but maybe couldn't quite afford it, his Padawan, Mark Mills, is one of his apprentices, and this was a home built in 1968. In San Rafael over in Cali. This is on over 4 acres, 3,000 square feet. 2.295 it's listed for, so if you're a Frank Lloyd Wright fan, but his apprentice property looks very much like what he designs. Cowboys, Randy Gregory facing year-long suspension. He served a 4-game, and now he's in his 10-game suspension. And now has failed again, so probably is going to be looking at all of next year being out. Tied in, Travis Kelce over at the Chiefs. This was pretty funny. He threw his towel at the referee for that call, and so they fined him about $25,000. Travis Kelce, he's, stand-up player, yes. NFL, on the field, off the field, never really does much of anything outside of just play hard. Rare explosion from him, and kind of looked like it was warranted, but at the same time, I'm not sure,
I agree. But I mean,
he was turned, but at the same time, it kind of it was light.
Well, not just that. I mean, you can't do anything, and you can't even say anything anymore about the officiating, or else you're still going to get fined. So I might as well throw a towel at him.
Well, the way he did it was like, I don't think he was trying to throw it at him. He was trying to throw it like a flag, like toss your flag, and then it kind of went right at him. So it was pretty hilarious, and I think he deserved it. So that was pretty funny. Hey, here's another headline. We've talked about Milwaukee County Sheriff David Clark in the past. He said flat out, look, you need to take care of yourself. And I don't know why it is always the sheriffs of the USA seem to have that common sense in law enforcement and common sense all around. But they say, hey, the police may not be able to get there by the time you need them. You need to, manage yourself, manage your family, protect yourself, protect your family. And a CNN commentator said that he's almost like a terrorist. So this was wild accusation. Rye was responding to reports that President-elect Donald Trump was considering him as for Homeland Security chief. And, of course, the CNN commentator said, well, he's like a terrorist. How could you do that? We've talked about this sheriff before. I mean, this guy is out in front trying to be proactive with the community, saying, hey, you need to protect yourself. We're here to protect you, protect and serve, but you need to take care of yourselves as well out there. Get a gun, learn how to use it, learn self-defense. Those are common sense things that everybody should be saying. But this CNN anchor decided, hey, that's so right-wing, taking care of yourself.
That's right.
How should I take care of myself? Why should I take care of myself at all? Everybody should protect me. Anyway, hey, folks, we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come on back. See you in a few. Folks, it's Mike the Realtor here from Inside Real Estate, and if you're not listing your property with me, bottom line is you're leaving money on the table. There are over 15,000 agents here in the DFW area, most of whom are part-time and do a few deals a year. Do you want to trust them to sell your home? I think not. Call Mike the Realtor, the radio realty expert from Inside Real Estate on 570 AM KLIF. Promise you will get to me direct. Go to InsideRealEstateRadio.com. Don't sell your home with just anyone. Go to InsideRealEstateRadio.com and connect with Mike the Realtor. Folks, it's Mike Kruizinga here with Inside Real Estate Sports Entertainment on 570 AM KLIF. Did you know that virtually all of us will experience a fall in the bathtub at some point in our life? Well, statistically, it's true, and as we get older, a fall in the bathtub can spell disaster, as we just can't recover the same as we did in our younger years. Don't let something as silly and preventable as a bathtub fall put an end to all your special plans you have lined up for your golden years. Invest in a Hydrojet walk-in bathtub. Made in the USA and with the lowest step in the industry, Hydrojet walk-in tubs has your best interest at heart. With no commission sales staff or huge warehouse overhead, they build and sell direct to you, saving you thousands of dollars over their competitors. Call Randy, my friend and owner of Hydrojet Walk-in Tubs at 855-980-8827 or go to hydrojetwalkintubs.com. You'll be able to speak with Randy directly, and make sure to mention you heard about it on the radio. And for you veterans out there, there's a grant available for you to cover the majority of the cost of a walk-in tub, making it darn near free. Call Randy at 855-980-8827 or go to hydrojetwalkintubs.com today.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey, folks, we are back. Time for a little mortgage talk. By the way, our website, InsideRealEstateRadio.com, InsideRealEstateRadio.com, and Terri's website over at Supreme Lending is TerriWagner.com. Terri is here, our resident mortgage expert. How we doing, Terri?
I'm great. How are you, Mike?
I'm good.
Good.
So what's going on in the mortgage world today?
Well, I thought in light of Veterans Weekend, we would talk about the VA loan.
That sounds perfect.
But I also wanted to let everyone know that if you call in either here or call me at the office or call me on my cell phone or contact me through my website, however, and let me know that you came from the radio show, that we will credit you back the cost of your appraisal at closing.
There you go. Very nice.
So nice little benefit trying to get folks to call in and talk to us today.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you do want to talk to Terri live, you can. 888-787-CLIF, 888-787-CLIF.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about our veterans and the special financing that we have available for them. That's the VA loan. And hands down, it's the best loan type as long as it's available for the borrower. So if you're doing a purchase or a rate and term refinance, or have you ever heard of an IRRRL loan?
I have not.
It's a refinance. It's kind of like a streamline refinance. It is a interest rate reduction refinance loan. It's called an IRRRL.
Definitely didn't hear about that one.
But any of those, if your loan amount is under $417,000, you have to have a credit score of a 620. If you're over the 417, you have to have a 640. So, and did you know that you can go over 417 on a VA loan?
I did. I've done one of those before.
Yep. There's a special formula that we have to put in place, but you can absolutely go above the conforming limit of 417 and still do a VA loan.
Yeah. Interesting story. I had a client that bought a home. It was about $525 was the sales price, and they put down, because of the formula,
right,
about $27,000.
Right.
So very low down for a home that was $500,000.
Yeah, I've done a couple of them myself. It is a great loan, and not everybody knows that you can do that. So
right,
you
exactly.
Can. So we can do a manual underwrite, or we can do an automated underwrite. We're not restricted to, we've talked about going through the automated system and make sure we get an approval there. We don't necessarily have to have an automated approval to do a VA loan. You do if you're over the 417, obviously, but we just have some specific guidelines that go into place when we're having to do a manual underwrite. We're going to have quiz time.
Uh-oh.
Who can purchase a VA a home with the veteran besides just the veteran? Who else can go on the loan with him?
The spouse.
Only the spouse. That's it. No girlfriend, no sibling, no one else. Yeah. Veteran and spouse. That's it. Okay. So we got to keep that in mind.
What do I get for answering correctly on that?
Do I get? I'll get you
cookie?
A cup of coffee. Yeah. So let's talk about credit for a minute, because that's one of the key components to all that we do in the mortgage world.
Yeah. Okay,
so it's a little different for VA loans. You have to have 2 years lapsed from a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13 or a deed in lieu or short sale. Okay. That's a little different than if you're doing a conventional loan, a little shorter time. Here's what I always found amazing. You only have to have 2 years lapsed on the foreclosure. FHA, you have to have 3 years. So, but on a VA, it's just 2 years since a foreclosure. Now, you can run into problems if your foreclosure was a VA loan and they did not reinstate your certificate of eligibility. Your full entitlement. So we'll have to look at all of that. But typically, 2 years on a foreclosure is all we have to wait.
Okay.
Like with any loan type that we do, all judgments have to be paid at or before the time of closing, or we can set up a payment arrangement on that judgment, but you have to have made payments. That's a set the purchase out a little bit.
Okay.
We'll set that up, set the payments up, and set the purchase out a little bit. Down payment, 0 down.
Zippo.
Nothing down. Don't have to have any down payment. There's 2 loan types that still allow for 0% finance or 0% down payment. VA is one of them. USDA is the other. Let's see what else. Gift. You can have gift funds for your closing costs or whatever, but we can certainly use gift funds on a VA loan, so that's okay to do. And
that can come in important when, especially in a tough market, when sometimes right. 0 down loans are not exactly what the seller or seller agent are looking for. Maybe, we need some, obviously with a VA loan, there are some things that are mandatory the seller has to pay.
Yes.
And in addition, we may need some additional help for the VA buyer as well. And so sometimes those gift funds, particularly in this type of tight market, can come in handy.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. Because on the VA loan, you do have what they call the non-allowables. So you've got particular fees that the buyer is not going to be allowed to pay. And typically that's going to be somewhere just under $2,000 worth of your closing costs. So most often you'll have to ask the seller to pay for it. Mm-hmm. And you may be passed over. Your offer may be passed over if you're asking the seller to pay part of your closing costs. If you're comparing a VA loan to some other type of financing that's not asking them to pay anything, you could be passed over.
Right.
Well, there's a different option for that, because you can also have lender paid on those fees. So we can certainly look at showing lender paid on those fees as opposed to asking the seller to pay it.
Right.
So we'll talk about all of that as well when you call in.
And in some cases, there may be an option too, if we feel like that house is going to appraise higher, we just increase the sales price as well and for that amount.
And we've talked about this before on the show that, sometimes we wish the sellers would be a little more conscious,
compassionate
on when they're looking at their different offers and maybe give a little special consideration to our veterans when they're looking at all of that. It's not always all about the money.
Yeah, or at least just don't automatically discount it.
Right.
At least give it a reasonable thought. Business is business, like we always say, but give it a thought.
Right.
Think about it. At least versus just discounting it right offhand.
Absolutely.
Just because it is going to be maybe a more difficult loan to process, to deal with, maybe a little bit, and maybe a little bit less financially.
Right. The appraisals that we have to have on a VA loan come directly from a VA portal that we have. So that can take a little more time to process on the VA appraisal. But the rest of the loan itself really is no additional time required on our end. But sometimes the VA appraisal can take a little longer.
Right.
But you can do a 15, 20, 25, 30-year mortgage fixed. We can do the single-family residency condos. We're not restricted to just the brick-and-mortar single-family residency. We can do the condos as well on a VA loan. So funding fees. This is what's so important. If we have a veteran who has disabilities and receives disability through the VA, there is no funding fee. That makes this loan, again, hands down, the best loan type for our veterans.
Right.
Because the funding fee is kind of like your mortgage insurance, for a lack of a better way of explaining it. But there is no funding fee at all when you're a disabled vet. So I think that's a huge advantage to going VA.
Absolutely. And there's one misnomer too, and I just want to mention this, that a lot of veterans think they can only use their VA once.
Right.
And, they forget when they pay off a home that, they could use it again.
Right.
Or if they've are moving, like, oh, well, I used my VA on my last one, I can't use it for the next one. Well, yes, you can. You can continue to use it once you dispose of the first one.
Okay. Well,
or pay it off.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay it off. You can have 2 VA loans. There's a specific formula that we have to use. But let's say you bought a home using the VA eligibility and it's not quite paid off and you're moving to a different city and you want to rent that house out. You can absolutely do another VA loan on the new purchase. Again, we just have to apply this formula, make sure the numbers fit.
The equity is there.
Right. But we don't necessarily have to discount, or you don't have to necessarily sell that house or refinance it into another type of financing. We can certainly look and see if we can do a second VA loan.
There you go.
Okay.
And it all depends about your eligibility.
Right.
And there's got to be equity in the property.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, there's got to be equity in there. And then another thing I wanted to bring up, if you are a spouse of a deceased veteran, we can still do a VA loan for you. So that's another loan type that we can, I've done a couple of those as well. I had a customer, now it took us a little bit of extra time to secure the correct documentation,
right,
to show the underwriter that yes, her husband was a veteran and he was within this time frame of serving. So it took us a little bit of extra time, but it was certainly worth the effort. And
yeah, there are absolutely spousal benefits, for deceased veterans. Absolutely, yeah.
Yep. There's just a lot of benefits as a veteran to doing a VA loan, and certainly something that if you are a veteran, we need to look into.
Yeah, absolutely. And, some of those misnomers is that, 1, you can't go over the 417.
Right.
2, that you can only use it once.
Right.
So, and those are not true.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah. And, I've worked with a lot of folks that, would try to use USAA, or Navy Federal. And even though they support, the men and women, of the armed services all the time with their banking, I find that their mortgage services are always extremely lacking. So if you are with Navy Federal or USAA out there, I'm telling you, Terri knows VA inside and out. You might want to trust her and talk to her about it, even over, your USAA and Navy Federal folks.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So just go to terrywagner.com and give her a shout and talk to her about it.
Absolutely. Don't forget, we'll pay for your appraisal if you call us.
Yeah, mention the show when you call her. Hey, folks, we're going to take a short break. See you in a few. Far from the shores of home, 2 African-American U.S. Army privates fight for their lives on the battlefronts of World War II. The first Black war correspondents fight to cover the perspective of the black soldier. The novel A Private War, it weaves all this and more into an epic World War II era story of friendship, conflict, religion, and redemption. Get a copy of Private War, a novel by Perry Cockrell today, now available on Amazon.com. And tune in regularly to Inside Real Estate Sundays, 8 to 9 a.m. to hear Perry Cockrell, attorney at law, as he provides expert analysis of the latest and greatest in legal news. When it comes to your mortgage and refinance needs, trust Terri Wagner, our resident mortgage expert on Inside Real Estate Radio. With a wide range of financing options and competitive interest rates, you can trust Terri for a fast and reliable loan process with superior service. Go to terrywagner.com or 469-644-4818 today. Supreme Lending is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID number 207089, 6730 Horizon Road, Suite B, Heath, Texas, 75032. SML Mortgage Banker Registration, Residential Mortgage Loan Originator.
Living in the DFW area, expansive clay soil and extreme weather conditions play havoc on homes' foundation. But thankfully, you can turn to Perma-Pure Foundation Repair of Texas, who has successfully repaired over 20,000 properties and counting in the DFW area. With the most trusted, tried and true foundation repair methods, trust the professional staff of Perma-Pure Foundation Repair to take care of your property, and most repairs are backed by a lifetime transferable warranty. Mention Inside Real Estate Radio when calling Perma-Pure at 214-637-1444 or when booking online at permapure.com for your Inside Real Estate Radio discount.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
How we doing, folks? We are back. InsideRealEstateRadio.com is the website. And if you want to talk to us live, 888-787-CLIFF, 888-787-CLIFF. Particularly if you've got insurance questions, because it's now time for some insurance talk. We got Richard Tonica, our expert in insurance from the Goosehead Insurance brand. His website, richardtagency.com, richardtagency.com. Hello, Richard.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is the most exciting time of the radio show. It's insurance talk.
That's right. It's the most highly rated segment of the show. Richard time.
One of the things I wanted to talk about, and it's a question that I get absolutely all the time, is dwelling value. How is it calculated, and why is it different from the purchase price and or appraised value? And
as in, why is it so much lower?
Sometimes it's never. Well, I can't say never. It is hardly ever exactly where I want it to be, and it's a conversation that I have with absolutely every buyer or every proposal that I put together for people. They're like, why is this so high? And it's like, or why is it so low? And we really run into the low part on one of the reasons that I was saying that when we were talking about the $1 million homes is you need special insurance for that.
Right.
And you do, because a normal insurance policy isn't going to cover you up to that value. They're going to look at a house and they're going to have a size or a dollar amount per square foot. And $1 million homes do not subscribe to the normal dwelling value calculations. And so you have to have certain carriers. And it's one of the beautiful things that I do is we have carriers set up that specialize in every brand or every type of house that you can possibly have. And it's not just one carrier that we have. It's always multiple carriers that we get to shop your insurance with. But that being said, we're going to kind of concentrate on a normal home, anything less than $1 million, because two or three of the people that I was working with this week, they had homes that were $650,000 to $800,000 homes. Now, when I did my normal replacement cost estimator, and it's going to vary from carrier to carrier, but every carrier that I had wasn't even coming close to the loan amount or the amount that the bank would approve for their insurance to be at. Because obviously your home insurance, if you have a mortgage on your home, you want your home insurance to be at least as much as the mortgage. That way you're covered if anything catastrophic should happen and you lose your home, you can't live there, because your bank is still going to want their money.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter if a tornado comes through, a fire comes through, hell just demolishes, doesn't matter. Bank wants their money.
Yep.
And
That's right.
the whole idea of insurance, or the whole purpose of your insurance, is to make sure that you've got that taken care of if any one of those things should happen. Because it's going to take you 15, 30 years to pay this house off. But if one of those things comes through and demolishes your house, we're going to take care of it right then and there for you. So on your dwelling value, it's like I said, it's going to change from carrier to carrier, because everyone has a different software that they use for your replacement cost estimator. And so there are some carriers that all they want to see is $85 a square foot. Is that a realistic amount for your house to replace it? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Every case is different. But there are some where you go in and you go into their proprietary software and you start putting in how many double doors, how many French doors, what's the kitchen upgrade, what are their bathrooms like, how many bathrooms, how big is the garage, blah, blah, blah. And you start listing every one of these items that you know about this house. And that's one of the things that I love about Zillow and stuff like that, is going in on there and being able to find that information out readily. It's readily available if it's been put in there. And so you start going through there and you start reconstructing the house on the percentages for flooring and everything else. And then it gives us that dwelling value. And so that dwelling value isn't necessarily going to be your appraised value or your market value. How exciting is this?
Very. This is important information.
Yes, it is. But, and so when you're looking at it, you're looking at, I'm trying to do everything I can to make sure that I'm putting the information into the system as accurately as I can. Because if something happens, you want your house replaced the way it is. You don't want something cheaper. If I go in there and I say that you've got builder grade everything and you've actually got a nicer house than that, well, if that tornado comes through and they start coming in and start replacing everything, they're going to replace it with builder grade stuff.
Right.
And you're not going to be happy. And so that's going to, I understand that everyone wants to keep their rates as low as possible. And part of doing your dwelling value and keeping it as low as possible has really two benefits or pitfalls for you. One is when it's time for a claim, that's how everything's going to be replaced. That's how they're going to look at it, and they're saying, well, when we insured this home, you said that this was the case, and this is what we're going to replace it with. But a lower dwelling value actually keeps your rate lower, mm-hmm. because you're not insuring as much. So it's not just keeping or it may or may not keep your rate lower. It's definitely going to keep your deductible lower, because the lower your dwelling value, the lower that you're insuring. And so let's say your dwelling value is $250,000. If it's a 1% deductible, that's $2,500 that is your deductible. Let's say we can get your dwelling value down to $200,000. Your loan's $190,000, so you're okay. You're covered on your loan, mm-hmm. and your home is still covered. Now, instead of $2,500 for your deductible, now you're down $2,000. So you're saving $500 on any claim. And so that's where we start playing with everything and start looking at everything, making sure that we have all the information in as accurately as possible, but still maintaining the fact that you're above your loan amount. Because if you're below your loan amount, and this is especially true on the first year purchasing the home, because everyone has a fine-tooth comb that they are going through everything. I've had some loans or some insurance policies that have been kicked back because we didn't have a period in the middle, next to the middle initial. So everything has to be exact as far as the title company and closing and getting all that stuff done. And we do that. But after year one and year two, you start looking at things, it's a little bit more relaxed, and you can go in and start playing with that stuff. But we still keeping it in there as accurately as possible and to make sure that you're covered where you need to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all about risk management. And what people don't seem to understand, where the irony is that, you know, the insurance companies are constantly evaluating you as risk-based, but you're not
Absolutely.
evaluating yourself as a consumer, your risk with your insurance company. So you need to make sure that you're covered. You have that balance of, look, you've got a decent rate, but you've got the best policy, which Richard can get you, but making sure that you are covered. So keeping track of all the upgrades that you make to your home to make sure that you are taken care of. Should something happen, like you say, something does happen, you don't want to get builder grade, you know, when you've put in thousands and thousands, tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars of upgrades into your home.
Absolutely. But
you,
we don't want to overinsure it either.
Exactly. You want that balance. You want that perfect balance of being covered. Something should happen, but also you don't want to pay through the nose every month, you know, when likelihood may be slim.
Yes. And that's part of, I mean, like I said at the very beginning, I mean, that's one of the things that I love about what I do is being able to shop it with all those different carriers to make sure that you're getting the best policy at the best price. Because like I always say, it doesn't matter how great the price is if you don't have a great policy to go along with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Folks, you know, if you don't know about the Goosehead model, which Richard is with, you know, he can shop over 20 different companies, 25 different companies that he can shop for you, and he can mix and match. He might have the best auto policies with one company, best homeowners policy with another company, maybe toys with another company. And guess what? You still get bundle discounts, the famous bundle discounts, but you're getting better policies. You're getting matched policies to you, your specific person, not just generic policy for everybody, like the Allstates and the State Farms and the Farmers of the world. He's shopping behind the scenes companies you can't even get to. And this is what he does for a living. He does it very, very well. And he really cares about you. He's going to take care of you. His website, richardtagency.com, richardtagency.com for all of your insurance needs. Anything else, Mr. Richard?
No, I actually finished on time for once, and so.
Good job, sir. Fine job. Hey, folks, we're going to take a short break. See you in a few.
If you have a timeshare, this time of year, you're probably thinking about those maintenance fees coming due.
Guys.
Hi, I'm Karen Holloway, owner of LoneStar Transfer, located right here in the DFW area. Before you pay your maintenance fees, call us for a free consultation, 972-722-3166. We'll get you out of your timeshare and put a stop to those maintenance fees, guaranteed. 972-722-3166 or LoneStarTransfer.com.
With over 3.5 million square feet and 5 DFW locations, Ideal Floors has you covered right on for all your flooring needs. Whether you're looking for carpet, tile, laminate, wood, or vinyl plank, Ideal Floors has you covered. And with their price match guarantee and their 100% satisfaction guarantee, they are the absolute best in DFW for all your flooring needs. Call Kevin Hamus, the owner of Ideal Floors, at 214-789-0422 or go to idealfloors.com for all your flooring needs.
Hiring people is probably the worst part of my job.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. One click and my job was posted to 100+ job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 100+ job sites. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey, folks, we're back. Website, InsideRealEstateRadio.com, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. Hey, we're going to talk timeshare exit strategy right here with the owners of LoneStar Transfer, Brian and Karen Holloway. And their website, of course, is LoneStarTransfer.com, LoneStarTransfer.com. And we've all heard the horror stories of timeshares, and we know folks that have had some really hard times with timeshares, and in particular, trying to get out of them. So, folks, welcome Brian and Karen to the show. How we doing?
Great. How are you?
Doing good, Mike.
I'm good. I'm good. Good to see you guys back here live.
Thank you.
So let's just real quick again for everybody, kind of in a nutshell, talk about what you guys do and how it's so different, and how you, because most people think, you know, how do I get out of a timeshare? Can I get out of timeshare? Then they find out they can't. and it's so difficult. And so let's talk about what you guys do in helping people actually to get out of timeshares and alleviate them of all the problems they have with timeshares, even if they've paid one off, but they keep getting those maintenance fees all the time. Let's talk about what you guys do.
Well, we absolutely help timeshare owners get out of their timeshare. And what makes us different is we're local. And I think that's really important. There's a lot of timeshare owners that are looking to get out of their timeshare, but they don't really know where to go. And so Brian and I just feel really committed to be working in our community.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. That is extremely important. And most of the time you guys are, you can help people over the phone, of course, but most of the time, by and large, you actually, sit down and meet with folks.
Yes, absolutely. I was going to share with you a story. We met with a gal that came into our office this week, and boy, we hear this story all the time, but since we just was talking to her about it, she came into our office in Rockwall, and she was just sharing with us that her mom had passed away a couple of years ago, and her mom had a timeshare. And she knew her mom had a timeshare, but she didn't really realize how it was going to affect her. And it was left in her mom's estate, and she had pretty much made it clear that she didn't want it. And she didn't really have a choice on that, she felt. And so she was telling us that she actually had to hire an attorney to talk to the estate attorney. And it was going back and forth and back and forth. And, she was trying to live her life, and this was kind of interrupting it. And
yeah, absolutely.
Really frustrating for her. And she actually shared with us that she just said, oh, just give me the darn timeshare. It was getting just so expensive going back and forth with the attorneys. And she was actually in our office and having to, get some help from us for something that she never even purchased. And we hear that often.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. The way these timeshare contracts are written, they really are perpetual. They assign to your heirs, as you're saying. This was the mother's, and it was debts go into the estate, and the estate has to be settled, when we pass on. And so, unfortunately, and even though in her case she hired an attorney, attorneys aren't cheap.
That's right.
A reasonable cost one is maybe going to charge you $400 or $500 an hour, and that's if you can find one that's going to charge that.
That's what she said.
Charge $400 or $500 an hour, most of which are at $750 to $1,000 an hour, or even more. So, you're going to have to really search the old phone book and the old internet websites to try to find somebody, even at $500, $400 an hour.
Exactly.
So that adds up really quick. And then, so in her, situation, she said, you know what, I'll just take it, because it's just adding up and adding up and adding up. So even an attorney who could probably eventually get it done, but how much are you going to pay them to get it done?
She was saying it was going on 3 years. 3 years to settle that, because you have to accept it in order for it to be settled, apparently. And it just drug on and took a lot of time and money to get that fixed.
Well, and it also can hold up settling the entire estate.
Yes.
So if there are assets in the estate, after the liabilities are handled, then and those are set to pass on to the heir, next of kin, whatever the case may be. But that can be held up by these timeshares being in that estate. And so for all those folks that you've got one and you're heading into the golden years and you're not using them anymore, you need to dispose of these things now before your next of kin, your spouse, before your children have to deal with these things.
Absolutely.
And if you're in this boat, hey, guess what? Lone Star Transfer can actually get rid of this thing for you. Which even attorneys who charge you gazillions of dollars for, they can get it done eventually, maybe. And even then, sometimes they come to the point where, like, I don't know what else to do.
We do have attorneys that actually refer their clients to us.
Exactly.
And so it makes it nice that we're local and they can come right into our office, and we can certainly take a look at what they have.
Yeah, and it's what you specialize in, and it's kind of the proprietary nature of what you do. Mm-hmm. Attorneys don't specialize in timeshare exit strategy. you really do have to have a relationship with the timeshare companies and, have established what you guys have, which is a proprietary way of operating, working behind the scenes closely with the timeshare companies to figure out ways to get people out of their timeshares.
Absolutely. And it is 100% guaranteed, because I know that is a huge concern to a lot of timeshare owners. And we just offer a free consultation, and everything we do is guaranteed 100%.
Yeah, and there's so many, and even on talk radio, unfortunately, there's a lot of companies out there just advertise away that they do this and they do that. And unfortunately, you guys have run into this so much where you run into competitors who have talked to a prospective client, and they've already paid, that other company thousands of dollars to basically just lie to them and to placate them when they've told them, hey, we get this done for you in 6 weeks, when that's not even possible.
That's right. And, Brian and I, again, we made a commitment to each other never to tell somebody something that makes them feel good. We are always going to tell somebody the facts, so it's nothing that's ever unexpected. Yeah,
in the process, it does take a while. But the good thing is unlike the other companies that say they're going to do it, then they're going to just take your money. Lone Star Transfer is going to tell you exactly what the process is up front, that it's, hey, it's going to be a little bit of a ride. Sometimes it's an easy ride. Sometimes it's a little bit of a bumpy ride. But timeshare companies aren't easy to deal with, which is people already know that if they have one and if they've tried to get out of one. But you guys manage all of that and help them get them out of those transfers. And it's so very important, folks, not to leave a timeshare in your estate for your children to have to deal with. It's going to burden them, and you don't want to burden, the estate being settled. And people just don't think about how it holds up the process of settling an estate. And it really, really does. You don't want to, burden children or next of kin with that.
Yeah, you sure don't.
And a lot of times these timeshares are out of state. So, and the people live there in Texas. So we've actually had to help somebody get probate attorneys in another state just so they can deal with this and get it done.
Yeah.
It's a bad situation.
It absolutely is. Well, you guys are the experts in it. And, hey, folks, right here in the DFW area, they're local. They can help anybody here in the state of Texas or anybody nationally as well. So if you know somebody in another state, that is having a timeshare issue, getting out of one, they can help them as well. But they're right here for everybody here in Texas and DFW. Their website, LoneStarTransfer.com, LoneStarTransfer.com. Just go to the website and then you can contact Brian and Karen, the owners. They'll talk to you direct and get you taken care of. Hey, folks, we're going to take a short break. See you in a few.
Winters are getting worse. Flooding, ice storms, tornadoes, and power outages. Are you ready? At best, your local stores have a 3-day supply of food. Will your family have to fight over what's left? Are you willing to gamble your family's safety that it'll never happen to you? Be wise and be ready with 25-year shelf life Wise Food Storage. Wise Food Storage provides affordable, ready-made gourmet meals with a super long 25-year shelf life. Meals like pasta Alfredo, cheesy lasagna, breakfast, dessert, drinks, and snacks. Just add water and your family is eating delicious food instead of fighting for scraps in a food riot. Try it free. Order a no-obligation free sample meal delivered right to your front door. And for a limited time, get a 10% discount and free shipping on all orders. Once done, you're set for 25 years. Be wise and be ready with Wise Food Storage. Call for your free sample now. 800-836-1131. 800-836-1131.
The Richard Tonica Insurance Agency in Arlington has nearly unlimited resources when it comes to getting you the best insurance rates and policies for home, auto, and more. As part of the Goosehead Insurance brand, you, the consumer, have the power of choice through the Richard Tonica Insurance Agency Network. Richard can quote over 20 A-rated companies to find the best fit for you, the best policy at the best price. Call Richard today at 817-286-2002. It's the Richard Tonica Goosehead Insurance Agency, 817-286-2002.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey, folks, we are back. InsideRealEstateRadio.com. InsideRealEstateRadio.com is the website. You can connect with all of us, don't forget, and then all of our past episodes you can catch as well. Had a really good interview with Jeff Benedict, co-author of QB My Life Behind the Spiral a couple weeks ago. So if you missed that interview, definitely head over to the website, find it in the archives. Good interview with him. Well-known author and contributor to Sports Illustrated. And he's got a lot of other great books out there as well in the sports world. And so I highly recommend checking out his website, jeffbenedict.com. And, of course, what a really great read the Steve Young book is. So for you sports fans out there, you might want to definitely check that out if you missed it last time. Let's see here. Hey, I wanted to mention this on real estate real quick. Again, it's just another point to watch who you're using in real estate. If you're using an agent, had an issue come up. There was a property, stained concrete, which if you know what that is, there's no flooring. It's just stained concrete. And, this is a style that's, popular West Coast style to a degree. We don't see it a lot here in the DFW area, but we see it from time to time. And you have agents that, see the visible cracks on the surface of the slab, which is natural. You pull up the flooring of any house anywhere USA, and if you have a slab, you're going to see the surface cracks. It's natural. Doesn't mean that the house has foundation issues or anything like that. But yet, unfortunately, there are agents out there that don't know their mechanics of homes, and that they think that, surface cracks on a home that has stained concrete, this house is going to fall apart. Oh, it's got foundation issues. And it drives me up a wall that, there are agents out there that I don't understand. Just understand basic mechanics. I mean, is that possible? Really?
Was he an inspector at one time? Because normally that's the feedback I get.
Yeah, no, it's hard to explain. It really is hard to explain. So, for you folks out there, pay attention to who you're going to use for a real estate agent. I'd highly recommend giving me a call. That's not going to happen with me. I know mechanics, but really vet who you're using out there. Make sure they know some basic mechanics of homes and structural and mechanical and et cetera, so they don't lead you astray. You got agents that are going to lead people astray. They may love this house, but yet, their agent's telling them that, and their agent's supposed to know what they're talking about. And unfortunately, a lot of buyers these days, particularly with millennials, they have no idea about anything structural whatsoever. If it's not in their computer screen, they don't understand it. And so when it comes to a home or a vehicle, they don't get anything. And so they're relying on their agent to know what they're talking about, and then they're leading them astray by not knowing what they're talking about. That's very frustrating. So think about who you're using for a real estate agent. Vet them. Make sure they know what they're talking about in all realms of real estate. Contracts, marketing. Make sure they've got some kind of experience. Marketing, negotiation strategies, mechanics of the home, the whole bit. So make sure you know who you're using.
Well, the last thing I want to do is use someone and kind of teach them how to do their job. So, yes, use someone with experience, someone that knows what they're doing and how to get things done. Because, like you're saying, I mean, you're going to be with them throughout the whole process, not just finding the home and getting them on the books, but making sure that it's a flawless and effortless kind of process, because it's overwhelming for some people, especially your first time through.
Yeah, it really is. And first and foremost, even if they've done it for 30 years, maybe they've been doing it for 30 years not very well. So don't just go with, they've done it a long time. Ask them questions. Ask them, just do a little bit of research, figure some things out. Just because they've been doing it for a long time doesn't mean they're good at it. Trust me, I've found a lot of 40, 30-year people in the business of real estate, and they don't know jack squat.
Me too.
And it's unfortunate. They're like, I've been doing it for 30 years like this. I'm like, well, you've been doing it for 30 years. Horrible.
Yeah, you've been doing it wrong for 30 years.
Have you read the contract lately?
No one's told you how to do it right in 30 years.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I'm just going to run through a little bit of these results real quick, and just because I don't think this is really out there a whole lot, and this is the presidential results real quick. And I'm just going to run through this because it really is so much landslides in here. Trump by 30 points in Alabama. Trump by 20-something points in Alaska. Trump, close one in Arizona. This was very close. It was only about 4 points. Arkansas, Trump by 27 points. Again, that was huge. California, obviously, Clinton landslide by 30 points. She won that one, obviously. Colorado, Clinton in a close one by 3. Connecticut, Clinton by 12. Delaware, Clinton by about 12 as well. D.C., she won that one by like 90%, which is what we expect because everyone in D.C. is screwy. There's only about 250,000 voters there anyway, or that did vote. Florida, Trump, close, 2 points.
But doesn't she have pretty much all of them on her payroll?
Yes.
Okay.
As far as I know.
I thought that was all the news conglomerates.
That too.
Georgia, Trump by about 7. Hawaii, Clinton landslide in Hawaii, 30 points expected. Trump by like 40 in Idaho. Illinois, Clinton by about 15 or so. Indiana, Trump by 20. Trump by 20 in Indiana. Iowa, Trump was up by about 10. Kansas, this is like 25 points. Kentucky, Trump by 30 points. Louisiana, Trump's up by about 20 there. Maine, Clinton pulled that one by only 4 points. That was close. Maryland, Clinton had that landslide. Michigan was just finally called. It was like a 1 point difference to Trump. Minnesota went to Clinton, actually in a squeaker by about 1 point. Mississippi, Trump by about 19. Missouri, it was about 17 to Trump. Montana, Trump by 20. Nebraska by about 26 points goes to Trump. Nevada to Clinton by only 2. And some of these Clinton wins, they were so close. Clinton by less than a point, in New Hampshire. New Mexico, Clinton up by 8. New York, she got a landslide there. Trump by about 4 in North Carolina. Another 30-point win in North Dakota for Trump. Ohio by about 10 points for Trump. Oklahoma, you're looking at a 30-point-plus win in Oklahoma. And we're running about out of time here. But as you can see, what I'm trying to say here is, folks, take a look at the actual state results. But you're going to see that Trump actually won by a huge landslide most of the states. There's only a few close ones that he won, and then most of the close ones that Hillary won, or most of the ones she did win, were close. So very interesting, folks. Inside Real Estate, Sports Entertainment. Mike Kruizinga here. See you next week, 8 to 9 a.m. right here. Neither the hosts nor the guests or contributors of the show Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga are attorneys, CPAs, tax advisors, or investment advisors, and are not providing legal advice during the course of the show. If you need professional legal advice or services in any of those categories, please seek the appropriate professional. The host is a licensed real estate agent in Texas with the Chris Arnold Premier Realty Brokerage, a fair housing broker and member of the MLS. Texas real estate agents are prohibited from providing legal advice.
The preceding program. The preceding program. The preceding program. The preceding program. The preceding